tonight. My name is Jody, for those who know me. I'm the WA Campaigns Manager at the Oak Tree Foundation, and I'm deeply excited about presenting to you the vision of Make Poverty History community campaigners. I'd like to begin with a story. Has anyone here heard of the Nashville Knock-ins? Nashville sit-ins? No one? Awesome. We dance like music, we dance for everything must change. The people that you project to the sides, we're looking at the sun, it's all so short. Well, the story begins in Nashville, Tennessee in 1959. And basically the story is about a group of people who decided to meet together because they saw an injustice, they took action, and then they were able to create real change. Well, this group of people started meeting together in Nashville, Tennessee, a group of African American students, and they were upset because of the racial segregation that was happening between the white community and the African American community. And so a man named James Lawson led this group, and he was trained in non-violent action. And so he trained this group for 3 months, and then they went into the department stores like Woolworths, Kmart, and Target, and they sat at the lunch counters that were reserved for whites only, and they sat there like everything was normal. The white folk didn't really know what to do, so some of them closed their lunch counters, some of them heckled these people, and some of them just refused them service. Well, basically, the first time they did this, they had 150 people mobilised to do this event. The second time they did it, they had 250, 5 days later. They did it for a third time with even more people. And the fourth time they did it, they had over 300 people going into these department stores. And as you can see, the white people of the community were fed up by this stage and they responded in violence. Now, at this point, when the police rocked up to manage the situation, because of the inequality against the African Americans, they were the ones who were arrested. And they were arrested for loitering and disorderly conduct. 150 students were arrested on that day. And when the larger African American community began to hear about what had happened, they were pretty angry about it. So they decided to start boycotting the department stores like Woolworths, and this caused business to suffer. A man named Alexander Loomy was representing the 150 students who were arrested, and during their court case, his house was bombed. And luckily enough, him and his wife were in the house, but on that day, thousands of people decided to march to the city hall to confront the mayor. Does anyone know how many people marched? I'll give you a clue. It was either 1,000, 4,000, or 500,000. Who thinks 1,000? Who thinks 4,000? Who thinks 500,000? Wow, yeah, it wasn't 500,000. It wasn't that big, guys. So 4,000 people marched to the city hall to confront the mayor, and they asked him, do you think it's right that this racial segregation is going on? And after much umming and ahhing and trying to dodge the question like we hear a lot today, he made this statement, I don't believe it's right that racial segregation happens. And just a few weeks later, 6 department stores that were previously whites only at the lunch counters were now serving to everyone. And this started a movement in which 4 years later led to a bill being passed which made it illegal nationwide for them to have segregation. Now the reason why I decided to share this story with you is because this is just one example from history where we've seen how real people, everyday people like you and I, can create real change. And in our world today, one of the greatest injustices for me is the issue of extreme poverty. Because 1.4 billion people in our world live in extreme poverty on less than $2 Australian a day. And the leading researchers are saying to us, we have all the relationships, technology, everything we need to be able to eradicate extreme poverty, and we can actually do something to make a difference. So just quickly, let's take a look at what the Make Poverty History movement has been doing in the last 5 years. In 2005, a 19-year-old named Dan Adams led the Make Poverty History concert, raising awareness to thousands about the extreme poor. In 2007, a girl named Viv Benjamin led the 07 road trip, which sent 700 people to have 6 concerts across 6 different nights in 6 different cities, raising awareness to 11 million people through print media alone. Kevin Rudd came to the final event and he pledged to increase aid by $2.3 billion, an awesome result. In 2010, who went on the Make Poverty History road trip? Awesome. Who would like to go on another one? Who would sell their soul to go on another trip? Yeah, that's what we'd like to see. April, thank you. Well, the Make Poverty History road trip saw 15 million people reach through broadcast media. We had 50,000 people sign the Act to End Poverty in just 10 days, and we passed the Act to End Poverty as a motion through Parliament, and we saw hundreds of people around Australia fired up and inspired to continue taking action. Shortly after that, we had the Micah Challenge and Voices for Justice go to Canberra again, and they presented our leaders a petition with 100,000 signatures. They had Kevin Rudd and Tony Abbott sign the pledge themselves, and Tony Abbott actually spoke at their signature event, committing to 0.5%. And so we're back from the road trip, we're back from Voices for Justice, and the question is, what's next? What's going to take the movement forward and continue applying this political pressure and raising community support for this issue? And that's where Make Poverty History Community Campaigners comes in. And our vision statement is to demonstrate as much public support and apply as much political pressure as possible, so as to provide a platform for the government to commit to our policy asks. In other words, we want to raise the issue of extreme poverty in the hearts and minds of the Australian public and our political leaders, and inspire them that we can do more for the world's poorest. So what are we trying to do? We're trying to get the government to commit to giving more aid, 0.7% of our national income. We're trying to convince them to do better aid, making the aid we give more effective. And we're encouraging our leaders to show global leadership for development, to lead an action plan to see the Millennium Development Goals met. And for those who haven't heard of the Millennium Development Goals, this is the plan currently in place to halve extreme poverty from the year 2000 to the year 2015. So I'd like to talk a little bit about what this community is going to look like. And the first point I'd like to talk about is unity. Because isn't it funny that thousands of people will meet every week to go to a concert or for a club? Thousands of people will meet together every week to go to the footy and celebrate their local footy team. Hundreds of thousands of people across Australia every week will join together to share their common faith beliefs. But where are the thousands of people, where are the masses of people meeting together on a regular basis to see extreme poverty ended? I believe many Australians have a heart for the world's poorest, but they don't know how to take action. And Make Poverty History Community Campaigners provides an opportunity for everyday Australians to be able to take action and effective action. We're going to be taking one action per month, and this action is going to be coordinated across Australia with campaigners being set up in every state as we speak. These actions will be based on the current political landscape, the Make Poverty History policy asks. It's going to be based on upcoming priorities and upcoming opportunities. And we're going to be having a monthly forum just like this, where we are going to be educating, resourcing and supporting every